BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today? It is the Monday edition of the Blue Note. Are you doing good? Are you fine? Are you happy? Tell me how you are today. I really want to know. I was hoping to have a special guest tonight. Unfortunately, duty calls and he's unable to be here. I'm hoping to get him either later this week or early next week. But I have two special shows coming up. One on Thursday and one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. I think you guys are really going to enjoy them. I mean, really enjoy them. One of them is a writer for the hockey news. Yes, I got a writer for the hockey news, believe it or not. I am trying to send a link to somebody right now to make sure that I want to hope that they can watch the show. They'll pop on and watch the show on Facebook and get a chance to see it. I don't know if they will, but yeah, that's the thing. So let's see who we got here in the room. Let's start with VDAR. How are you doing, VDAR? VDAR, you got to come on the show sometime, man. You've been following me for a long time. You got to come on. This weekend, I took the weekend off. I had some personal issues I really needed to handle, but you know what? The show is important. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm back. Right? And I think you guys know that. Colin is saying hi. Yes, Colin, I saw that. I don't think that is completely true. I've heard rumors of like 4 other teams. I heard Detroit was in there because of the money they got and some others. And right now, the Islanders have got to get rid of somebody to bring him in. And if I'm the Islanders, especially a team in a rebuild, I'm not giving. I don't see it. Kadri is not somebody you can build a team around. And if you're in a rebuild, you really cannot. Right? Colin saying that's cool. Thank you. And awesome. What are the flip is going on, brother guy? You know what? Nothing that I want to talk about on the show. Be honest. I like your played your jersey with both numbers. Actually, so this jersey is the one that Mike Hoffman wore the Saturday that they honored Bobby after his death, the first home game after his death. That's that jersey. It's signed. That's what that is. Ashley, how you doing, Ashley? We miss you. Yeah, sure. I'd love to come on eventually and talk some hockey. Well, man, let's get it set up. You can contact me on Twitter or on Facebook. It's the easiest way because I can't send you a link through YouTube, right? And my Twitter is rolling down now. You know how to find me on you know how to find me on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you do. So there we are. I appreciate that, Colin. I appreciate that. I agree that Kadri is overrated. Yeah, they really are, and they're I mean, there's only 25 of these, and this is the only Mike Hoffman one. So it's a one-of-a-kind jersey. It's special. I've got signatures all over it. Bruce Affleck's on it. I don't think Tony Twist is on it. I don't think I got Tony. But I've got a bunch of names on it. Mike Zook, Gary Unger's on it. I got Gary Unger to sign that. That is a very special jersey to me. Jason Nichols saying hi to Ash. We miss her. We love her. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And don't forget, in Facebook, put them thumbs in the air. And if you're on, I think VDR just messaged me. I have my ears in, and because I have my ears on, because I wear, so maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't. I have hearing aids, and the speaker is here. And in order for me to hear a little bit better, so I don't have to be blasting on here, I have to wear these. Well, when wearing them with the headset, sometimes I get feedback in them. So that does affect how I hear and how I work. Marcus Smoots, Marcus! Oh my God, Marcus. Wow, dude. I went to high school with Marcus. I haven't seen Marcus in a long, long time. Dude, thank you. Wow, that's a hell of a name there. Wow, man. That's a guy I would love to give a hug. She'll be back Wednesday night. Well, I need you Wednesday. I need you Wednesday, Ash. And you don't know this. I have a special show on Wednesday. Yeah, I've been pretty hot here. I've been sweating, so I went and took another shower. Thank you. I appreciate that, Colin. Um, oh, way to go, bud. Way to go, guys. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Because no, I'm telling you, Marcus, man. I'm going through a kind of a rough time, and I've had some hard periods with friends and things like that. The guys that I went to school with in Cleveland, NJROTC, those people, we haven't seen each other in years, but that's almost the pure definition of family, of non-blood family to me. And I just got to say thank you, bud. I just got to say thank you. Oh, let's bring in my buddy and my pal, Lance. How you doing, Lance?
Hey, Guy. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, man. I was hoping we were going to have a special guest today. You know what? Robert, let me tell you a quick story about this. So the boys went to we're in a state tournament, baseball tournament, and now Lance is they were second, and Robert's saying there were two teams. A few years ago, I was really into tropical fish, and part of a club in that, and they had a Marcus, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much, and appreciate you watching the BlueNote Fan Report, man. I really do. I appreciate the support. They had this show, right? And I entered 3 tanks. I entered like a living tank, planted tank, things like that, community tank. I entered a what they called two pairs of fish, male and female. I had a male and a female angelfish that I had raised from really small to decent size. And then I had this grow out fish that they had, and I entered all 3 tanks, and I ended up taking 2 first and a second. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. And everybody's cool. And I said, yeah, but the worst they could have done was a first and a second. Because in the community tank, I was the only one entered. In the grow out, there were only 2 of us entered. But in the big category, the pairs, there were 8 tanks. So to take first in that one meant a lot. Right? It meant a lot. So you know what? Sometimes it just doesn't matter, my friend. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Where are we at? So we've been you and me have been in a, I don't want to call it a Twitter war. We've been in a actually, I don't want to say it was a good Twitter conversation, right? This weekend. Do you agree or disagree with me on that?
I don't know if I'd call it good, because some people in there aren't.
Well, Lance, I don't mean to walk over you. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is that some people aren't looking at the big picture and the full story and the parameters of everything, and they're entitled to their opinion, but they're thinking with their heart and not facts of the story.
I know, but everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, I said that, yes.
And I thought the conversation was good. I thought it would, they listened to yours, you listened to theirs, whether you agreed or not, or whether they agreed or not. But one of the guys in that chat goes by number 1. Well, I mean, I do it at 9:00 almost most nights there, VDAR. If you need me to do it earlier, let me know and we can do that, bud. But he goes by the name of number 1 GM, NHL GM, and his @ is Doug Armstrong, right? He had he agreed with some of us, he disagreed with some of us, right? And with that being said, well, VDR, let's have you come on tomorrow night. I don't know if Lance can get on because he's got something else, but do you want to come on tomorrow night? I don't have anybody else scheduled. I got to double check and make sure. I'm pretty sure my schedule is Wednesday and Thursday, right? But he had some really interesting things to say, and I liked what he had to say, and I wanted to bring him on. Unfortunately, he had his reservist drill this week, and he's in a hotel, and it's got bad reception.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna try and come on. I think he would be a fun guest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And the other one, I don't know if I can pull up who this next one is for Wednesday. I don't know if I can pull up Instagram. On my, Instagram basically mainly works on the phone and not like you can't from your computer upload pictures. They have to be uploaded from your phone. There's ways to do it, but the picture comes out bad. Right? So I'm trying to bring this up. I search Instagram pretty good, right? And I look for hockey related accounts and things like that. And I found one and it leaped out at me. And I thought, this is absolutely somebody that we need to get on the show, right? So I reached out to this gentleman, and let me see if I can find. I'm trying to find his account so I can bring it up, if you're okay with that, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, here we go. He has an account on Instagram called Mental Health Hockey. He is a former pro. He did not play in the NHL. I think he was in the minor leagues, and I'm not sure how up. But he is really focused on hockey, mental health, both in hockey and from hockey. Like using hockey to help mental health and the mental health of playing the game, right? That some of these guys go through. Hey, Roman, welcome to the show, man. Oh, that's great. That is absolutely great. So here we go. So let me share up his Instagram account. I wanted to bring, especially with some of the mental health issues that I deal with, right? And Lance, I don't hide them from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never hid any of my mental health issues. I want that known. So, I'm open about my mental health. And if somebody wants to take advantage of that, let them, but I'm very open about my mental health. There's the account. It's called Mental Health Hockey. It is, the guy does some lives. He sells T-shirts and things like that. But I absolutely thought that this is somebody who we could really talk to, right? The founder of @Puck Support, speaker for addiction, mental health, retired pro hockey player. I looked him up. I didn't find a lot. Let's see if I can play. Here we go. Can you let me know if this is going to play, Lance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm looking at it. Is this playing?
Yeah.
Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. That's that. I think it's a neat account, and I think it will be a good thing for us to have on the show.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
His name is Brady Levold, motivational speaker. And, when I reached out to him, he jumped at the opportunity. I think that's somebody that would be really, really good for the show. Well, Roman, for me to bring somebody on the show that I think anybody who's watched me for a while knows this. I need to trust you now. I need to talk to you for a while. I need to know who you are. I really need to understand who and what you are before I bring you on the show. And I need to make sure you're going to be on video and you're going to be real, because I'm not going to have myself treated like I did the other one. VDR says I'm off at 9 tomorrow, so I should be good. Might be 5 minutes late, but so tomorrow night works. It's great. We got VDR tomorrow, man. Cool. Right? That's really good. I used to think that everyone can have their own opinions. I have now realized people are dumbasses, so I agree with Lance. Well, you know what? The Constitution, it says right in there, you have a right to be a dumbass.
Right. That's correct.
It absolutely says you have the right.
You have a right to be an idiot, a smart person, a dumbass, whatever. It's your right to be that way.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, what do you think about the possibility of Nazem Kadri going to the Islanders?
If I'm the Islanders, I don't pay him what he's asking. I'm seriously hoping they're not going to give him more than $6-7 million a year.
I can't give him more than 4.
They're saying they're trying to move 2 or 3 players. My question is, you've already got a team with holes, especially defensively after your first pairing defense, and you can bring him in, but is what he brings to your team going to make you a contender for the cup or a contender in your conference? I don't think so. This team, the Islanders, need a lot more than Kadri to make their team successful.
And he's got nobody around him.
Nope.
The only time he's ever been successful, first of all, last year, I think is I don't want to say it's an anomaly, but it's the way we had more 100-point players last year than anybody else. We had more 100-point players than we had at any other time in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Scoring last year was at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be that high next year. I think there's going to be a slight course correction, but not that much. Kadri went from a team that was extremely offensive to a team that has no offense. He's not going to have those same numbers. He has nobody around. He wasn't a top pairing guy. He was a second or a third pairing guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He wasn't, and I don't see how he helps the Islanders one bit.
I don't either. When I saw that, now everybody that's reporting that has said, we can't confirm it. It's just what we think. Well, unless you've got a source, you've got to have a source somewhere that tells you this. I'm shocked that Lou Lamoriello would go after a player like that, especially at that price. He's the type of guy that will pay a player decently, but they've got to be a really good player that he feels really fits into their system. And like you said, Guy, they've got some good pieces there, but they don't have enough guys around him to make him have the type of season he had last year. Nowhere near that.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Now Thursday, and we'll get back to this, but I want to go now that something, because my mind's in a funky spot. My guest Thursday is a writer from the Hockey News. I don't know if you saw this or not, but they put out an article, and I want to get the guy right. So give me a second. The gentleman's name is Adam Porteau, Porteau, writer and he put out an article about the Blues and a season look at. Well, some of it I agree with, some of it I didn't. And I talked to him about it, and I asked him about coming on the show, and he agreed. Right? He says things in there about, Perron being a huge loss. Well, to be honest, I don't think Perron is that big of a loss. He also said that Vladimir Tarasenko was disgruntled and unhappy in the locker room. I'm sorry, I don't see that. He says he has a source, and I have a source, and I haven't talked to my source in a while, but at the same time, I just don't see it. He's done everything the exact opposite of what a locker room cancer would do. The exact opposite.
I've not heard that. He's kind of a quiet guy. A lot of times quiet guys aren't locker room cancers. To me, it goes against his personality when you see him either online or on the bench or in the game. If a selfish player, it's going to show up while he's on the ice at some time. It'll show up. And I've never seen him be selfish on the ice. In fact, there's a lot of times I'll go, Vlad, you should have passed it instead of shoot it. Somebody else was open. And that's just the type of player he is. I've not heard a single Blues player say that he's hurting the locker room. Not one single player say that. And I don't know where he's getting his stuff from.
I've never seen an article. Never seen an article
that brings that out. Is he from the Hockey Writers or Hockey News?
The Hockey News.
Okay. All right.
The big one up in Canada.
Yeah. I don't know where he's getting his stuff from, because I've not heard that from any of my people in Canada, in Toronto or Edmonton or any of the other places I know people at. I've not heard that about Tarasenko up there or down here, at all. That's the first time I've ever seen that in an article, and it's the first time I've ever heard anybody mention that in a way.
So, hey, I need to bring this up. VDAR, I need to bring, if you're not 18, I cannot have you on the show. You have to be 18. If you are younger than that, I have to have your parents express written permission before you come on my show. Because of YouTube and some of the rules and things like that, I need to make sure that I'm covered legally, bud. So I hope that doesn't upset you. I still would love to have you come on, but if you're under 18, we got to make sure that I'm covered. Right? Colin says, I actually think someone like Anders Lee would be good on the Blues. Is he still with the Islanders?
He's past. He's way past his prime.
Ashley disagrees with me about Perron. Now, Ashley, I understand. I understand what you see about Perron. I really do. But here's the thing that I think of, and this is the thing that I brought up to the writer. There was something that happened last year that, unless you followed the Blues pretty regularly, got missed. And we talked about it extensively. But in December, when the Blues went through COVID, they were forced to bring up many young players. And they were forced to play those players. And it's the first time in Berube's career that he's brought these players up and let them play because he had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, these guys went out there and showed him that they can play. That they can play. Kyrou. Remember, this was before he had his down. Kyrou, Thomas, Walker, Brown to some extent, Torpachenko, Joshua, Offer, right? These guys came up and really showed that they could play. And he went with it. Through all the way through. He kept with it. Even when they were having struggles. It wasn't The Athletic. There was another article written, and I forget what website the author was from, but it was basically quoting the entire Athletic article. I didn't put any stock to it. I think it was sensationalized a little bit. I know Ashley disagrees with me. She talked to me about it, but I didn't get that. When I read the article, I was just like, there's nothing new here. I did get that, right? Jason Nichols says, I look at Perron like he's a helium balloon that got away, he's gone. That's not a bad way to look at it. That's really not a bad way to look at it.
No.
But back to what I was saying, the fact that now you've got these young guys that need that opportunity, man, they can shine. Brown's got the talent. May not have the work ethic, but he's got the talent to be that guy. Walker has talent. He can be a third line guy. He uses the body. He's starting to show some of that shooter's ability, right? Prunovich showed that he can be a power play guy. He can run the point. He can be a quarterback on the power play. He's 21, 22. He can do it, right? These young guys are going to get an opportunity that they weren't going to get. This is why we lost Paige Thompson. Paige Thompson was never going to get the opportunity here. Never. But he got the opportunity and he shined. These guys got the opportunity in 21, 22, and they shined. Why do you think, what makes you think that they won't shine in 22, especially now that the opportunities are out there? They're not locked. It's not locked. It's not locked. It's been locked every other year. You didn't have the opportunities are there. They're there for these guys to go out and grab. That's why there's all these one-way contracts. Come out and get it. Earn it. I think that I really do. I don't think I think you can look at Perron in one way and you can look at him in another. But look at him and say that he leaves a hole in this team is saying that you'll have less, that the guys coming up can't fill that hole, and I think that they can. I really do. I think that there's opportunity for them to fill those holes. Colin Smith says, do you think we'll have 90 20-goal scorers? No, I don't. I think we'll have between 6 and 7. Right? I think some guys are going to lose. But then again, we had, 2 guys in the 30s and 4 that were 25 or more than that, actually.
Yeah, I keep seeing people say this team is worse. And get this, they're probably going to lose in the same round they did last year. Okay, you just lost me there. If it's worse, how can they still make it past the first round and get to the second round? You're not making sense to me. If the team is worse, they're not going to get to the second round. They may not even get to the playoffs, according to some people, which I think is all gloom and doom. People are acting. And one thing that gets me is we lost our fourth line, but the fourth line wasn't good last year. Okay, if in your mind it wasn't good, then why are you complaining about losing it? I see people going, well, our fourth line is just totally decimated. Okay, we lost Joshua. We lost Bozak. We lost a part-time player in McEachern. What have we really lost? An older guy that was at the end of his career, Joshua, who had some flashes of some good play, but didn't always look comfortable on the ice. McEachern just wasn't going to get the time here. So what have we actually lost on that fourth line? In my mind, we've not really lost anything on that fourth line. Now, losing Perron, yeah, it could hurt us. But I could almost guarantee you right now, David Perron in Detroit is not going to have as many points as he had in St. Louis. Because
I can see that.
The team around him is much better. There's no Ryan O'Reilly in Detroit. There's no Robert Thomas in Detroit. There's no Vladimir Tarasenko in Detroit. They've got some good up-and-coming young guys and a few good veterans. But, guys, it comes down to this with Perron. Regardless of what he says, regardless of what people want to get on his bandwagon and cry with him and whine about it, they didn't have the money to sign him. I keep seeing people say, well, and Perron even said, I don't buy that. I think they had the money to sign me and Letty both. David, are you delusional? Because when they gave you that money, when they told you in that last week that offer of $4 million was still there, but they couldn't go any higher, it was your decision to go and try to get more money.
And he signs it, we don't get Letty. He signs it, we don't get Letty. The money's not there.
Yeah, and and people keep bringing that up, and I'm going, don't take my word for it. Look at the cap structure. Look where it was when they signed Letty or had a chance to sign Perron, and tell me and show me how they could have signed both of them. If you can show me how they could have signed both of them, I will fully agree with you and say, yes, they had the money to sign Perron and Letty both, but nobody's been able to do that because
you would have had to make 2 trades. You would have had to trade
Barbashev.
You would have had to trade Barbashev.
Yep.
That would have freed up 2.8. You still would have another $1 million. You would have had to trade somebody else, somebody down the lower line.
I had somebody tell me, well, then let Perunovic and Mikula walk. Well, then you're going to be bitching about the defense.
Yeah.
You guys, you can't do that. I mean, I love David Perron, but this whole whining about the Blues has got to stop. My question is this. When have you seen a Blues player whine and cry so much after signing somewhere else? Pat Maroon was devastated because he wanted to play here, but he wanted a 2-year contract. And he'll admit, I didn't come back because the Blues didn't offer me 2 years. He's not mad about it. He still loves the city. But for some reason, David Perron is
actually now you got to remember, he only got originally got only a 1-year deal in Tampa.
I know that, but that's what he wanted was 2 years from the Blues. And he decided, well, I can go 1 year from the Blues or 1 year with Tampa. I'm going to go ahead and go with Tampa. But guys, David Perron has made tens of millions of dollars from this team. They've paid him very well. They've not shortchanged him. They've treated him great. They show him out there as one of their best players. They don't owe him a dang thing. And that's what gets me. This is a business. And when you have $4 million to sign 2 players, you pick that player. And they picked the player. And Perron had already told them.
They let the players pick themselves.
Yeah, because Perron had told them, I'm not taking $4 million. And people
but they offered both of them the $4 million, and whoever took it first was getting it.
I know, and that's why that's what I'm saying. The week before, when Armstrong reiterated it before free agency,
Yeah.
David, I know what you want. You want 5.5 to 6 mil. We can't do that. We've got to sign two people, either you or Letty, and we've got $4 million to spend on one or the other. And that's when his agent said we can get more elsewhere. We're going to go elsewhere. Is that on Doug Armstrong? No, it's not on Doug
it's
Armstrong.
not.
I'm tired of it.
You know what? Here's the thing. You know, could we re-sign both if we traded Scandella, some other depth player? Possibly. However,
but who do you get to replace Scandella?
Well, no. Here's the thing. I've brought up trading Scandella a few times, and you know, I brought up the guy from Klingberg, right? And I brought up the possibility of signing Klingberg for 4 years for $4.5 to $5 million, trading Scandella and Barbashev. And I got told, oh, no, you have to trade Scandella and a pick for future considerations. You're not going to get anything for him. You're not going to get anything for Scandella. Well, I mean, if that's what you think, then where does that? I disagree, Jamal. I think he does fit here. I think that I think that there's some on the surface. Everybody wants to look at some mistakes he's made or some ways he's played. But his numbers aren't as bad as everybody thinks. They're not. You know, he was a plus 17 with 18 minutes played.
Oh, Guy, you can't use the plus 17. It's irrelevant anymore. I get so sick of hearing that. And hey, he's a fourth or fifth defenseman is what Scandella does. When he's on his game, he's a top 2 line defenseman. And he's been hurt several times, disclosed injuries over the last 2 years and undisclosed injuries. It's like Parayko having a bad back. People were onto him, just like Bouwmeester. Guys, you got to be healthy to be at your best. Is Scandella a top pairing defenseman? No, he is not. But you're not going to get a top pairing defenseman for $3.2 million.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, look at what Kadri, or not Kadri, dude from
well, even Klingberg signed 1 year for $7 million.
$7 million. Yeah, but the guy in Kellen Carr, a $10 million player.
Yeah,
right. You're not getting the top line guy that cheap.
Yeah,
you know.
It just frustrates me, guys, that people don't look at the facts. You want to have an opinion, I respect your opinion, but show me facts. Don't tell me, well, this is the way it is. They had the money. Okay, show me. If you show me how they could have done that without trading anybody, do it. That's all I ask.
I'm with you.
Show me.
Lancer, I'm absolutely with you there, bud.
I love it, Robert. That's a great comment there, buddy.
I'm trying to give him this, you know.
That's excellent. Man, you made it sound so easy, Robert.
You know what? There are some Avalanche players on huge contracts. They've lost. You know, everyone sits there and says that they're still the top guys. They're still the top guy. They've lost 200 points. 200 points. Hey, Wendy, if you can come on, I sent you a link, bud. They've lost almost 200 points.
Yeah, I tried to come on Wendy's show earlier today, and he kept kicking me off. I think it's because I was a Blues fan. No, yeah, people. It's like people are still picking Vegas as a favorite to win the cup.
Yeah.
People get stuck on a team. You know, everybody's wanted Colorado to win the cup for 3 or 4 years now. That they win the cup, they lose all these big. I mean, they signed a couple of their big guys. They did, but like I told you, and we both agreed, they're only going to be able to sign a couple of them. They're going to lose a lot of goals with guys they can't sign back. 200 goals, guys, is about.
Well, not 200 goals, 200 points.
200 points.
200 goals.
That's a lot of points. That's a ton of points to lose.
Uh-oh. Hey, Lance, say hello to our buddy, our pal, our friend, Mr. Windy City Hockey. Hey, Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right.
All right, what you got going for us? What's on your mind, man?
Nothing much.
I want to ask him one thing because I want his opinion on this, and I'm sure he's seen Twitter and articles out there. What is going on with these people thinking Edmonton is going to get Patrick Kane and they're not going to have to give up anything, and that Chicago is going to pay $7 million of his salary? Please explain to some of these people why that's not going to work.
Well, first off, the Hawks can't pay $7 million.
I know.
Of his salary.
That's what I wanted you to bring out.
And second off, Edmonton doesn't have anything to give up
No, they
for
don't.
Patrick Kane.
No.
Because think about it. They think do they not realize they still have Ken Holland as their GM? The Hawks still fleece them when they traded Duncan Keith to them.
Yes. Yep.
Ken Holland's not the greatest when it comes to trades. He will overpay for someone. And frankly, I can't see Patrick Kane in an Edmonton Oiler jersey.
From what I understand, Nick, he doesn't want to go to Canada, from what I've heard.
I haven't heard that, and I haven't. The thing is, Kane has not asked to be moved.
Nope.
The other day, there was who was it? Saying Dallas is now in the running for him.
I saw that.
Dave Pagnotta.
Yep.
And then 10 minutes later, the next tweet came out from Mark Lazarus of The Athletic, who writes for the Chicago Blackhawks, basically shooting down Pagnotta's tweet saying the Dallas Stars have been in talks for Patrick Kane. And by saying the Hawks have not talked with any teams about moving Patrick Kane because Kane has not asked to be moved.
No, I'm with you.
Yep.
Here's a good question for you guys. Dale Klunk says that Detroit will make the playoffs next year. They're a much better team next year. Watch out for Ottawa, too.
Ottawa is likely to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Detroit is.
Detroit, I honestly think misses by like 10 points.
Yeah, they'll be better.
Oh, yeah.
Tays to Pittsburgh. I seen that rumor of Tays to Pittsburgh and Tays to Colorado. I did see those
Again,
rumors.
Jonathan Tays has not asked to be moved.
And if you've been watching the show, guys, over the last 2-3 months, Nick has said several times, and I've said several times, that there's rumblings going around that he may retire, that Tays may retire, and he's not one of those guys, I think, that's going to hang on when he's not being a top player. He's one of those guys that's going to say, okay, it's time to move on. And he hasn't said that. I don't remember. He's upset at the rebuild thing. Well, any player would be upset at that, but if he's going to retire, he's going to do it, regardless if any team wants him. But I think that's the type of player he is.
Yeah, my thing with both of them, Tays, if Tays retires, they can use his syndrome that he has, the thing that kept him out last year, as the reason, as a medical retirement, and save that cap space.
The thing is, Tays has 1 year left on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tays wants to play out the contract and see from there. It's basically the same as the Duncan Keith situation.
Mm-hmm.
Dunk's had 1 year remaining on his contract, yes. But I feel like on Keith's situation, he basically said he cannot be Duncan Keith anymore.
Yeah.
That's why he retired.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 1 year left, and it led to a cap recapture penalty to the Hawks. But honestly, that cap recapture is nothing to this Blackhawks organization, how they sit with the salary cap.
Yeah, they've got money to burn. They're like fighting to get to the floor, aren't they?
No, we're at the floor.
Yeah, you're at the floor.
We're actually a little bit over the floor.
Yeah.
A little bit over the floor, yeah.
It's shocking with contracts are 10.5 by Tays and Kane, and then a 9.5 in Steph Jones that the Hawks are actually fighting to get down to the floor.
Can you imagine, Wendy, if somebody would have told you back in 2015, in 7 years, the Hawks are going to be trying just to make the floor, the cap floor? I don't think any Hawks fan would have ever believed that.
Oh, no one would have.
Well, right now, the only team at the floor, under the floor, is Arizona.
They'll get to it.
They'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 1.5 under. Chicago's got about 10 million to the good.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they have 10 million in cap space, so they're at 71 million. So they're up there. But there's a lot of teams over the cap.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of teams over the cap.
A lot of teams over the cap that only have 17 out of 23 contracts, 18 out of 23 contracts.
Vegas has 16 out of 23. They're the only one in the team. Well, no, the Oilers have 19 out of 23, and they're 2 million over the cap.
But
I mean, you look at Tampa Bay Lightning.
They're going to go out and trade for Kane and take on his $10 million.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, they are 7.1 million over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually almost at the limit of how you can go 10% over the cap until the season starts.
They are over the limit.
Yeah.
Now, well, the cap is 82, so the limit would be 8.2 million, and they're at 7.1.
Okay.
Right, at 10%. It's 10%. You can go 10% over. So 10% over would be 8.25 million over. They're at 7.1. So they're close, but the caps are right there. They're at 6.3 with 22 contracts signed. So they can move somebody. They can move 2 contracts and still have some room to play. They can still field a 20-man team. But there's guys out there that can't even, get a 20-man team. Pittsburgh's got 24 contracts. Columbus has got 24 contracts.
Pittsburgh's just stupid because they gave those terrible contracts to Malkin and Letang.
Hey, where are we at on things?
I've talked to a lot of Pittsburgh fans, and they swear, Nick, that those are great contracts.
They are horrible contracts.
Yes, they are.
Just because of the term.
Yep.
The money, I can understand it because what they've done. But the fact that they gave Letang 6 years.
6 years. Yep.
And Malkin 4.
Yep.
Letang's going to be 42 when that contract's over.
Yeah.
That's a terrible contract.
It is. Yeah, it wouldn't have been as bad if they said, "Hey, we're going to give you guys for 2 more years." It would have been not. I don't think it would have been great, but much better than 4 years.
Then look at freaking Anaheim signing John Klingberg to a 1-year, $7 million contract.
Well, there's rumors going around, Nick, that he wanted 8 for multiple years, and the reason he only took 7 and went to Anaheim, one of my sources told me that he thinks next year the cap's going to go up $3 million, which will help him get his $8 million for 4 to 6 years. I don't think he's an $8 million defenseman.
No, he's not.
He's about a 5.
That shutdown attribute with him.
He's a $5.5 million defenseman. $5 million.
He's better than Scandella, who's overpaid.
I will say he's better than Scandella. Yes, I will say that.
Sorry, guys. I'm doing something.
I tried to get on your show earlier, Nick, and it kicked me out. And I got this message that said, "Sorry, no Blues fans allowed." No, I did try, and it kept kicking me out.
That's weird.
You'd been on for like 3 or 4 minutes, and I got on, and it sent me to the login where it says Facebook or YouTube or whatever all that stuff is. And then I went into it, and I just got a blank screen. I'm like, okay.
That's weird.
What are you doing, Nick? Kicking us out?
I figured he might have, there might be something wrong with YouTube, or there might be a bunch of guests coming on. And
it had to have been YouTube because I noticed today, like, I only had like a max of 5 viewers, and I was probably like, YouTube. This is not normal for one of my weekly streams.
Yeah. I've had that happen with Guy too. I've tried to log in, and it won't let me.
I can't believe it said no Blues fans allowed, though.
I threw that in there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were serious on that one.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Oh my goodness. If I'm honest, I like Letang's contract more. Malkin had 12 points in 2 games versus Detroit and Buffalo. Letang really had 29 points in 40. People say, oh, he had 41 points in 41 games. Sign him. I don't know. No, he had 29 and 40, really. To me, that they're older players. You're hanging on to it's the same thing with the Chicago and Kane and Taves. You're hanging on to past glory. I mean, it's the same thing with Crosby. Crosby's at the end of his career, believe it or not. Right? I mean, Crosby's going to be, Crosby will be in the Hall of Fame a lot sooner than he will winning another cup.
I don't think he wins another cup.
I me either.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are in a state of limbo, just like how Detroit was when they went in before they went into their rebuild. Because Detroit kept keeping Zetterberg, Kaiser, Datsuk, and they kept bringing in all these old guys just to make the playoffs to be eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh hasn't won a round in the playoffs since they won their last cup.
Well, I can tell you this: if the old GM was there and not Ron Hextall in Pittsburgh, I mean that speaks a lot of why those guys got those contracts. If another GM was there, those guys wouldn't have got that long of a contract. I just don't see it.
Frankly, I wouldn't even have signed them. I would let them walk, frankly, how I would have been.
Yeah, you got to make those decisions when the guys get 34, 35, 36. You've got to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on, man.
I'm going to answer that, Ryan, real quick. And
okay, go ahead.
The two answer is this: 2 words. Gary Bettman. That is why he is all big time on warm weather cities. He wants hockey in warm weather cities, not places they can be successful, but places he can get big money for a franchise and bring more money into the league. And the owners, there's people that say the owners don't like him. The owners that are in it for nothing but money, they love him because he's made them a lot of money. The reason Arizona is going to stay in Arizona is because of Gary Bettman. If Gary Bettman was not the commissioner of the NHL, Arizona would have been out of Arizona a long time ago. And Arizona Coyotes fans can disagree with me, but no team can have that kind of attendance for year after year after year after year and survive. If the Blues had that same attendance, I think the Blues would probably end up moving.
They'd be in Saskatchewan already.
Yeah, they'd be in Saskatchewan.
Right. To me, it's the market, and it's the size of the market. You talk about moving them to. Well, there's a couple of different issues with moving them to Quebec or even to San Antonio. Right. It's the size of the market you're leaving versus the size of the market you're going into. There are not many. The Phoenix area, the overall Phoenix area is one of the. I don't know the size of the market, but I want to say it's a top 15 market. Right, and San Antonio's not, Quebec's not. There are much smaller.
San Antonio.
Oh, there's been San Antonio or Houston are supposed to be the new big places.
Houston makes a lot of sense with their hockey history they've had.
Houston's the big enough market. Houston, I think, might be an equal size market.
Houston's soon to be the 4th largest city in the U.S.
Yeah, it's a big city.
Yeah.
And I will say something about Quebec. I don't know if you guys have been up there or anything, but I have. And I'm going to tell you something about Quebec. The Quebec old Nordiques fans. I mean, they put a lot into putting money down on season tickets for when they were looking at expansion. They've got a new arena up there, so it wouldn't have to be built. And people go, well, it's not big enough. I'm going to tell you, just like Montreal, there's people that drive 2 to 3, 4 hours to go to the Canadiens game. And it would be the exact same way with the Nordiques. You can't just count, the metro part of Quebec. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, would it have been as great as Vegas? Maybe not at the beginning, but that place would have been full every night, just like Vegas. I mean, that place, I think they had 50,000 people or 40,000 put deposits down on tickets.
Yeah. Same with Seattle. Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And, Seattle's got a lot of money and it's got a big metropolitan area. But the thing about Seattle is that there's a lot of poverty in Seattle. There's a lot of, from the top of the rich of the money chain to the lower end. They've got a terrible homeless problem, a terrible drug problem. And, the NHL needs to take some of this into consideration. I'm glad they got a team, but let's put teams where they're going to thrive, where the communities can handle
actually,
it.
Lance, at this point, I have to argue with you because with that logic, St. Louis should lose the Blues, to be honest, because St. Louis is one of the top cities in crime every year, top cities in drug abuse. It's one of the top cities in sexually transmitted diseases.
And it's
St. Louis has just as many issues as any other city.
It's one part of St. Louis that has 90% of those issues. One part.
I disagree.
I know policemen over there. They tell me 80 to 90% of the crime comes from one part of St. Louis. The rest of it is just fine.
Are you saying East St. Louis?
No, East St. Louis is not considered in the crime stats as St. Louis.
Okay.
I'm talking about another part of St. Louis, which I'm not going to say because I don't want people being upset with
East
me.
St. Louis adds to the crime in St. Louis. A lot of crime committed in St. Louis is from East St. Louis.
Yeah, but a lot of people go from Missouri over to St. Louis and cause crimes too.
Yeah, I know it goes back and forth, but Bob Morton says it's dangerous downtown. It is if you don't know what you're doing.
If you don't know what you're doing and you act like you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, no problem, bud. No problem. If you get a bus, you get a bumps. Yeah. So that's just why I had to argue on that. You know what? I'm not going into politics. You can keep that out. Kyle me says Chicago pretty bad. I agree. I'll argue with you on that, guy, because that's based on per capita, and St. Louis City is not included. St. Louis County, that's why it sounds so terrible. And that, that might be true. That might be true, Tan. That might be true. And you asked a question earlier about, a new pro team. We're getting an XFL team, and I don't know if you can consider that a major sport.
I wouldn't put that major.
But it does bring football, American football, in some way. And really, when the XFL was last year, they were selling that out, right? They were selling that out. So it will be a big deal to St. Louis fans. I do know that, right? I lived in Overland for a while, never had any problem. I'm from Maryland Heights. I mean, I'll admit Maryland Heights has changed. It's not that I'm saying that you consider it in statistics, but there is a lot of if you cleaned up the crime in East St. Louis, you would clean up a lot of crime in St. Louis, and vice versa. But I think it's more the other way. I think it's more, and I don't know if Wendy knows about this or not, but I think that's an area that really needs, man, I remember, with East St. Louis when they got in a lawsuit and lost City Hall. They don't even own City Hall. They have to pay rent on City Hall to a guy from a lawsuit.
Huh. Did not know that.
Yeah. A white guy was beaten to a pulp by 4 people in the, and I'm sorry, I know this is, sorry, bud. There we go. I gotta put somebody in timeout. I'm not letting somebody ruin my show. So there's some of that. Carl Officer, and he destroyed that city. So Mizzou and Illini basketball tied up. Some reason Alabama doesn't have an NFL team. I don't think they could afford it. I don't think they could.
Alabama's a college
Yeah.
area. They care more about college sports than pro sports. That's the thing with Alabama.
Oh, this is a good comment. It's hard. How hard is it for a player like Tarasenko, Taser, Kane to go through the years and eventually be old talent when they used to be prime stars? I have to say that it's probably pretty difficult. I remember Hull. Right? The stuff Hull did. And what he ended up doing, going to Phoenix and just not being able to play, just realizing he had to, and he said how hard it was because he still felt he could play. Right. But he didn't stay in shape during, he was a typical Hull during the lockout, and he couldn't get his body back into shape. Right. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't remember his name, Jamal, and I don't want to get into it because it is politically motivated, but it did. I remember watching it on Donahue, so it had to be in the 80s, right? Yeah, they might. They're a good team, that's for sure. Your mind says you can, but your body says no. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. ADR, go Hawkeyes. I can't get into college sports. Can you?
I have fun watching college hockey, but that's about it.
I can watch college hockey a little bit. I mean the rules are designed for it to put the hockey front and forward and not the physicality. And I would like to see them move that, get some of the physicality back into the college game?
The thing with the college game, they still have more. You have players who are still supposed to be wearing cages out in college.
Yeah, and you have to wear the cage until you're 19, I think.
20.
20? I thought it was
I
only
believe
19.
so. In college, you have to wear the cage in college till you're 20.
Yeah, so you can't go to the visor.
Yeah.
But even the checking in college doesn't seem to be, you know. JT, your boy likes your Kruger jersey.
Yep. Thanks.
Lance is saying he had a stroke when he was and he's 53, and you know, my mind says I can, and your body says you can't. I get that. So I'd love for the Hawkeyes to have a hockey team. Actually, you know, the St. Louis area is going to have a Division I hockey team now. Right? Did you not know that?
What?
The St. Louis now has a Division I hockey team.
Oh.
Right?
Know that.
Yeah, it's Lindenwood College out there at Centene.
Okay.
Division 1A. Right? Yeah, so you know, their coach is former Blue, and I can't think of his name. He's a friend, and his name slips my head right now. But you know what, GT, I'm not going into that. I'm not going to answer personal questions on air. Please don't ask them. Right? That's something that doesn't need to be put out there. Asala, you almost missed the whole show, bud. Here's a cool thought. Alex DeBrincat becomes a free agent and signs with the Blues. I don't see that.
That won't happen.
Yeah, I don't see it
If
either.
DeBrincat walked from Ottawa, he'll probably go to Detroit.
Oh, man. Ramirez says he was playing Black Duck and just lost my wife's house. I was trying to make it become... no, hey, Al, you know, Asad, you know, we love when you can come. Anytime you can come, we love it, man. Look, we got Guido, Kyle Mead, Brandon Shafel, Charles Jenkins, another high school buddy, Marcus Schmooze, Ashley Jones, Jason Nichols, and Gray. Thank you so much for putting those thumbs up. We really, really appreciate it, man. Oh, you're Assad, you're welcome anytime, man. And absolutely a man can dream. We can just tell you what we feel. Hey, Wendy, I'm gonna end it at an hour tonight. I'm not gonna go much longer.
Okay.
But thanks for coming on, man. I got some special shows coming up, right?
Okay.
Wednesday, I will have a guy on who Brady, and let me kind of see if I can bring this back up. He has an Instagram page called Mental Health Hockey. He's a mental health advocate, former professional player, not in the NHL, but he's a motivational speaker and speaks out on that. He's going to join me on Wednesday.
Huh.
Right. Let me bring that up for you right there. And then on Thursday, I'm going to have a national writer from the Hockey News to talk about the article he just wrote on the St. Louis Blues upcoming season. Right? I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Let me look and see it again. I can pull it up in my ear. Adam Porteru. ADAMPROTEAU. Right?
Okay.
He's agreed to come on the show on Thursday, and should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys can come around and check that out. When I do have other guests, I am going to limit who I allow on with it. I will limit that to Ashley and or Lance. So I hope you don't take offense to that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. You know, I think that when I do bring in other guests like that, I need to, you know, limit it to people that are part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what I'll kind of say there. But hey, man, thanks for coming on. Have a great day. I love you, and you're a great friend, and I appreciate it. And I hope that I'm a good friend to you.
Yep.
Right. Maybe I don't say it enough, but you know, I'm very loyal to my friends, and while I may not sit there and message you all the time, Wendy, I think you know that I'm there for you, and I would back you to the hill. Right.
All right.
So that's all I got to say, guys. Thank you so much. This is Guy the Hawaii Blues fan for Nick from Windy City Hockey saying aloha, mahalo. all on the next Fan Report. Aloha.